Welcome everyone to another live stream. Just realized it's 1 second. Because I don't like to make too many. Which is this even? Wait a second. Why is this? Ah, this is why. Back in a second. Just let me start data. So I also need a better proper non-black. So yeah, back we are. So yeah, let's stop doom scrolling, right? Shit times to be alive. So it's certainly worse for others. Why is this here? Anyway, you're not here for the beauty content. Anyway, Linux development. Stream doesn't have bitrate. Why does it not have? It says. I slightly wonder why is the bitrate so high anyway. Output. Yeah, Linux content. And 4 Mbit though. Anyway, whatever's going on with OBS, maybe some regressions. So speaking of regressions, we have some of our own stuff to fix. So we obviously finally freaking want to release our Linux distribution. Wow, freaking last days of February. Time is running in these evil times. So we have, what do we have to do? We have a cargo regression that the doctor just reminded me about. That of course I had on my own radar. We also have, so the thing is I always, procrastination, so how to procrastination, I always procrastinated, English pronunciation. I procrastinated for way too long, like aka 2 months, to fix e-figure regressions. Basically, I noticed myself installing that on the data center, although this was not the latest build. Oh yeah, thank you very much. I was leaking this stuff live on YouTube, right? Nothing of remind me later. Why you freaking heck remind me of this shit anyway? Building on Gentoo fails. Yeah, thank you very much. I think let's add another to-do shared web page file, cross-compile Perl exam modules. I noticed we have some scripts that use Perl, so probably cut this at colon field 1 unique. Oops, unique. Okay, paradim. Why do we have Perl though? All right, actually this Perl thing probably, I mean, paradim is also not config function. Why is config function? What is that doing? Perl, this is only an example. Okay, so this overgrabs as per so often. So that leaves us probably, okay, we have here Perl. Okay, this is also, okay, this is actually valid. Leaves us with probably not that much, so mostly check package version, which is also not really what we are using. Create diff, create error list. So create, what is that doing? Perl. Okay, this has indeed some Perl, logtail of, yeah, there's a usual readable tag fault with, I wonder, we probably. So my point is remove Perl dependency, which we don't really have too many, but we're in, call this something like primary T2 scripts. Notice that the other day, so that would be something of, I mean, theoretically that, but that's not really in production. I mean, that also not really. So, I mean, that is, yeah, so mostly those. Package versions, so this was an example. So basically, I mean, this is like, yeah, not really, at least those, I would say. Not super important, but someday. Matthew Smith asked, Have you heard of tools like Ila and GG, hijack, make, somewhere distribute the job, AVS Lambda so that you can effectively build? Not really. I have not really heard about this. But yeah, as you say, I would say maybe it works like this CC, or I mean, certainly even 15 years ago, we clustered with. I mean, obviously, I didn't have epic thread ripping stuff back then, which didn't exist except supercomputers. But like think Athlon 1 gigahertz and like an iBook 800 megahertz and stuff, and you got to use what you had there. As you say, certainly doesn't speed with slow link, and also, I mean, you really would need a very good link. It's probably certainly not scaling that very well, and then it depends probably only for C and C++. I wonder if that really would work with Rust. But the problem is I can't really look into everything. I rather need to, I mean, not only release C2, but I then really need to focus on microkernel. I already procrastinate too much. Probably, to be honest, being honest with myself, I probably should procrastinate less, especially this freaking war doom scrolling, which, like, what the heck is even freaking going on here in Europe? But concentrate more. It's the same with operating systems, right? Have you took a look at this and that? I mean, I already tried Haiku and OpenBSD or DragonflyBSD. I certainly try like a magnitude more than other people, but I can't also. I even tried Fuchsia, which is like, yes, I mean, it built and didn't came up much a year ago or 16 months ago, whenever. Anyway, so that is also not the primary thing today. So what we could do today, we of course need EFI testing. So the EFI testing is super boring. I wonder if we should really do it now today. Leave in the comments below. Otherwise, it's of course stuff we need to do to freaking release that. And then of course a surprise what kind of stuff will fail this time. Maybe we should quickly, okay, either in 5 minutes or in 15 minutes, fix this. By the way, Rust and Cargo, we have our sandbox wrapper tracking stuff is erroring out with files where they might necessarily should be. That would be source. Let's see, that is Alacrity. But coming back to this distributed build stuff, I'm also not feeling like paying Amazon big money. I'm a little bit digital, more self-reliant. I mean, I had certainly stuff in-house, except data center servers. Of course, my in-house stuff is failing with Voda fails broken, Vodafone, peak bugs fail, super broken infrastructure. That certainly doesn't scale if in-house. But the thing is, if you spend like 500 euro or like the XORG Foundation $80,000 or what that was, for $80,000, I rather buy myself a nice set of really epic and thread ripping machines, and then I rather like have more hardware. I mean, I want to go a little bit more minimal, also like collecting all the exotic machines, but also going a little bit more minimal. The problem is, I brought stuff, Ryzen and such for this YouTube channel. The problem is I have a little bit mixed feelings between trying to be a little bit resource constrained and saving the environment and buying new stuff for YouTube, right? This is like, I mean, not only my money, but also like, I mean, maybe I should start selling stuff on eBay, like last year's 3950X or something, because it certainly doesn't make much sense to keep everything on stock. Although, but yeah, if we really build this YouTube channel, then like Gamers Nexus or Linus Tech Tips, then you would need some test stuff on the shelves. But there's also a limit of certainly some vintage stuff I have. Yeah, that is the thing, right? Some vintage stuff is not as useful, but it mentally feels better or looks better on the shelves than last year's Ryzen 3950X. But otherwise, that is the thing, right? This is renting and leasing and cloud software stuff. If you just give them your money, you don't have stuff in-house, right? I mean, I understand scaling and their bandwidth and connectivity and scaling, but yeah. Matthew says, yeah, I don't want to give money to Amazon. GCP, Azure, Threadripper, Epic Home is much more fun. Yeah. I mean, on the other, I understand that. Scaling plus next year there is like the next more Threadripping thing, and then with cloud stuff you can of course just migrate that. But with a Threadripper you can also sell it right. Sure, you don't get the same amount of money, but maybe still some 75% or something after a year or two. Cargo, Alacrity. So the thing is, I should actually test even more. I mean, I tested quite some stuff, Alacrity, especially on the M1 Max. Emerging here in QEMU revealed some stuff and setting next data center server up with new stuff. And I kind of should test even more. I wonder why this is not auto update. Alacrity. And that is a scale, certainly, I wanted and I did outsource this a little bit to the community already of you testing along at home. And that's certainly already some regular contributors, which, by the way, is up, did regular contributors contribute some. Which I reckon is certainly not the most entertaining. I mean, sure, some people like this. Did we not download that? What the heck did happen there? Some people... check some error. What? Some people enjoy this anyway. Mirror download. What even? How did this not... tab doesn't match X. Okay, that explains why. What's going on with this stuff again? Alacrity. Or was this the day where that was... Oh, what the freaking... Now they name this version. Are you freaking kidding me? It looks like they have no stupid version name in there. Are you... Or is this... what is this? Is this in the tech name or not? You can mix this shit up each time some other shit happens here. Oh man, people in there. Yeah, the most hardware. I mean, allegedly, maybe also they have a website. No, did they previously have a website? No, they didn't. Yeah, the set state of Rust and Cargo, everything is amazing. It's like, except if it isn't. And I would also say, I mean, previously they said the most hardware related and stuff, but in the meantime, I would say this YouTuber's ref term potentially more high performance. Did they really? Oh no, they just named it stupidly. Why does it not download then? Version 0.10. Alacrity archive. Is this here 2 times? Is this, oh no, this could actually... Why does this freaking not download? Version 0.10.1. It's not a comma. Oh man, you can't mix this up. What is even? Maybe I should look into the freaking file here. What the freaking heck? The given path has multiple possibilities. Ref 00. What the heck? You kidding me? Can't mix this shit up. All I wanted was a freaking download, and all I got is this shitty. Previously, Alacrity. Oh man, what was another GitHub thing recently? Right, Git. And this is so, I mean, previously we had proper download sites and they didn't change all the time, and now what would be a archive? This is archive though. Archive looks like that. I mean, maybe we click on... You can mail it. This is such a waste of time. This is hilarious. I guess we would want that one here. So they download from tech, though. Maybe Maybe this is because, I don't know. What is this shit even? Underscore Alacrity. What did it effectively download? RGZ text. The problem is I don't want to use this strange URLs. This is a little bit disappointing. How can we? I really hate wasting my life and time with this. This is so hilarious. Yeah, looks like they have again at GitHub caused some regression in some shape or form. This is really sad. I mean, we could work around that for now using 10 temp. I mean, should we text? Do we have text there? Archive tag, does that load? Tag text. Releases. Okay, here's some release download. GitHub release download. Okay, this is a little bit. This is an even different URL. Oh man. Actually, I just realized here some other not ideal. There's also X-Archiver, also not archive. Refs tag archive. Refs tag, does that happen to download something like that? What a waste of time and human resources. Maybe we need some. Yeah, not super. Not a fan of this shit. This is hilarious. This is. I think this is what would come down there. Maybe that is a granular regression. The last time we had an issue like this, it actually wasn't a proper GitHub regression. But yeah, another 5 minutes wasted or something of random shit here. Yeah. And it multiplies this with 4,000 packages, right? Or other random bullshit, which, by the way, other random bullshit do they have? Do we have 11? I lost overview. We have 11. So what is to be expected is that this Alacrity errors out. I think this was that combination. Also here, Rust and Cargo, right? Would not particularly thrilled to write new microkernel code. It compiles a little bit long for my taste for a tiny little, and multiplies it with the whole kernel and stuff, right? Plus readability and stuff. So ng http2 third party of which package is that even libn? Compiles really long. Would not be surprised. We recently changed this to build release builds, but wouldn't surprise me. It's like, yeah, use a tiny little Alacrity thing here, micro dependencies, right? GL generator, gluten. Like, yeah, I'm not making this micro dependencies upright. This is, yeah, and why? I mean, I personally don't find Rust the most readable and enjoyable and stuff. I mean, people make jokes of like, yeah, C++ templates and error messages and stuff, but yeah, Rust so much better. There we had that. I think this errored out similar to what was to be expected. So the thing is, we changed this stupid stuff here, this cached build stuff. And so this is all cargo registry. So which other, welcome everyone. Oh, and good morning from the USA, yeah. Good morning. There, what do we have even? Good afternoon. I wonder which, so this is just our own scripting issue here. That we simply, this is our own sandbox thing, so our own intentionally written sandbox thing saying this file stuff should not be there, and the easiest thing was, Rust, many files, many dependencies. Yeah, for just a tiny little terminal emulator. So the easiest thing is probably put our own cargo home into the allowed sandbox top level directories. Matthew writes, Sati, another GPU isolated terminal written in C++ and it's faster and correcter than Alacrity. Yeah, I noticed there was one other thing that had this own display protocol, which was something like Kitty. There's a Sixel and I think Kitty protocol. Yeah, there are pretty many modern things out there. There's one YouTuber, Rocket something, had this ref term on Windows even. That, I mean, it's not rendering super fast, but it's like I always said, like asynchronously parsing that and basically also not rendering what is not seen by human anyway, leading to gigabytes of scroll performance. So cargo home. So it would be somewhere. List root, what would be the variable name? Flist root, probably. I only wonder, why would that? So all this is allowed flist root. Where is our? Do we add our? Probably we add our build dir in there. Where is stage level greater 0? Where do we add somewhere the current build directory? Or do we have flistdel even? Flistdel? So these are just our own variables, internal variables of setting up this stuff. Just checking what would be the best way to hook into that. Somewhere must be the build directory. Where's our build directory? That would be... here's some base. List valid. Is base our... Base could potentially be our build base. Yeah, build ID. Less equal to this root. Where would even be? Okay. List valid base. So let's probably just add that to. I guess we do this in cargo. Or do we? Or Rust? Apparently here. So I would propose, yeah, we had here multiple ideas. I mean, this is a regression, right? We introduced this ourselves. We previously had this in the tempfs, in the build sandbox of the tempfs, but the only thing I moved it here is to cache all those hundreds of micro dependencies to improve build time. So I guess that would be, would this be? I would hope that let's see what happens. The only thing is, oh wait a second, this is separated by pipes, and then so I'm not entirely sure, should this be flist valid? Maybe we add this to delete anyway. Let's see what happens. Probably I should, I mean, I should more scientifically. Which file was it even? What do we do with flist valid? Ah, okay, these are some base tiers. Maybe we should filter that out first. Because I have, what would, do we archive that? Because we certainly don't want to archive that. That's actually a good question. Is it tracked files of? No, it isn't. That is. How is that not? Or maybe it's because. Okay, let's see what happens. We added that. Oh, so we have some. Let's see what happens. The only problem is that this takes so long to build. Maybe we should, as a win-win, take a look at cbindgen and just. There's often an update. So maybe it didn't auto-update for similar reasons of not downloading anymore. Of course, it's probably. Oh, it's the latest version. Do I have it installed? cbindgen. Former build was broken. Thank you very much. Let's probably also document an issue here. We had this packaging stuff. And I think I would want to add here, we could do something like this. I wanted to add that maybe in source front-end script should be and T2, okay, this still is building. Installed end user also front end package maintenance Not really sure if this, I mean, because otherwise if you, okay, this is also, okay, top level deer. Why would that, okay, this somehow did not have the desired effect. I somehow expected that also. Is this, by the way, in, oh no, this must be a newly created file, otherwise. cbind gen. Which was it? Build. Flist del. Okay, this is also pipe separated, and let's try flist del var append flist del maybe, or is it what other stuff do we have there? What is, we also have filter actually. Each thing flist, no. Let's maybe try it like that. If we later, first something that works easily, and if we have later performance issues. Yeah, for this terminal Sati, and the other was probably Kitty or something, patches always welcome. Mostly to get more intuitive for developers to do on other systems to build embedded Linux. I mean, this thing, firmware. Not really sure. I mean, I understand this certainly introduces a conflict that in tree you use it differently, or you can use it differently. Like, so what we're talking here is like modernizing the script stuff, and the idea would be not, because like historically we have this here in scripts, and the command line parsing is also not to normal standards, and so the idea would be to, instead of script stuff, do your T2 build target or something instead of scripts. I think this, I mean, yeah, recurring theme, wasting our time of implementing or re-implementing or refactoring stuff, but that's at times a price to pay to yeah, modernize or make it easier. This still doesn't work like this. Why? This is a little bit annoying, to be honest. Wait a second. Oh, wait a second. Is it even the? Is this the latest 16, or do I? Oh no, this was. Why did I not build cbind gen? What have I done here? Looks like I built that for some strange reason. Oh, darn, I just, oh no, there it is still. Why is it? Cargo is in there. All right, maybe we need dot star actually. Probably need, we need dot star. Yeah, you could argue why even bother, but we need to make our emerge thing more intelligent. And the other long-term stuff is our installer is right now some custom-made C application that is also not outstanding anymore, and we have a issue for that. And my long-term idea would be here at binary mine installer. Some of those should be more unified. So ideally, performance consideration aside, here we have here also T2 already. So the idea would be you boot the T2 ISO, the installer ISO, operating system ISO, and instead of the package installation being a custom C program for not too many good reasons, reusing the same T2 sources and scripts. And this has multiple benefits, not only using the same maintenance scripts that you would use to build stuff and not having a dedicated C program, also potentially supplying binary seeds, and so that you could update, like continue installing packages like on BSDs and stuff from binary repository if you wanted to, and similar such stuff. So does that cbind gen, this still didn't work. That is actually, why would that be? Or is it, wait a second, maybe this flist still is triggered after, yeah, the cargo stuff is correctly in there, I guess. Maybe this is actually triggered after load top level directories. So much too. Did I mention some 10 minutes ago? I probably should have read the code more. Flist. I think, did we not have filter? We must have had some kind of flist filter. So ideally this should not be even into the log. Here's flist. Okay, here's a read filter. Okay, this is rd config. So much to. I was already joking, fixing this quickly in 5 minutes. It's like, yeah, or 15 and 25 minutes later. So it's like, misc archive tools sources or somewhere of FL wrapper. Filter, what kind of filters do we have here? We ignore access inside the column separate direction list FL wrapper based keeps log. We have this. Okay, this is simply base. I think I remember I told this anecdote already. I implemented that on my 800 megahertz iBook 15 years ago in building, when I basically noticed that a lot of time. This log file also grew large, right? Building OpenOffice, so this was most likely building OpenOffice. Like in 2005 or so, on said iBook, and the log also grew. The crazy stuff is so many and so much to my criticism here of what is that even? It's like, yeah, my criticism of too complex stuff, right? It's like, if 15 years ago already, 15 years already, the stuff was so large, using so many files, generating so many files, that this log became larger than 2 or 4 gigabyte. And that also at the time was a large file threshold, and it's like, yeah, 32-bit platforms. And so let's see. So this is base. So then did we try to add this to this base already? Okay, so this is what the base was for. Let's actually, wait a second. There was flist wrapper. paste it even now. I think I earlier had this on the screen already. F still, F. FL wrapper base. I didn't. You know what? What? Base deal. Oh, what we? This is one compiled thing. Oh, wait a second. What's going on here? We ignore access inside the colon separated directory list FL wrapper base to keep the log. What do we do there? A little bit confused on all this stuff. Okay, we only define this for less than. Why is this? Where do we even filter questions over questions? So we only set this for cross builds. Is it not that we... Yeah, but as usual, as just analyzing where to actually add this stuff is FL wrapper always takes the most time already. So do we have... Yes, there we have all the build cargo stuff. We apparently don't have this build dir in there, so where do we add this build dir? That is that base. Okay, that is that build dir. Here's filter dir. Here we have this. So we have that after all. So that is okay. Finally, we are getting somewhere. Darn, this also didn't. I'm pretty sure I pressed Command C, man. I think this bloody Apple keyboard. I only wonder, should this... I think this should still update for sub-processes, so... I wonder, do we have any other filter dirs added to there, or other strange languages needing such stuff? Ccache. Okay, actually we do that for Ccache. Okay, that is good to know that other stuff is touching that. So, last but not least, I think this should finally... Yeah, but this is also the reminder that, sure, I could have found this a little bit faster. Always people's like, yeah. But yeah, one line patch can be expensive if it takes so long to find you where to even in your own code. So wrapper, filter dir, colon, and hopefully that finally works. So yeah, then we theoretically should, did we, Alacrity. Yeah, this download here is not ideal. Maybe I do it for now. Totally not the greatest fan of this stuff. Yeah, this is, yeah, it's like whatever. Or however, for the next, I mean, Alacrity is not like mission critical in primary package and stuff, but for the next package, I certainly should investigate what's up with this GitHub download URLs again. And so then did we have the ISO, right? From yesterday, QML image create, what was the syntax of 32 gigs or something of test HDA or so? I wonder, oh, that I just skipped over it. HDA, test HDA. So that is a boring thing that I wonder, should I even live stream it? Maybe not. Maybe I should make a dedicated live stream. Hey, no, we have this, don't have this anymore. See bunch, probably, yeah. All right, this is commit, let's see. Should we mark this properly? Theoretically, we could add which revision costs this, but not to or to filter cached build artifacts minus typos. Yeah, the build here, so that is the stuff that we should automate. Alright, by the way, this is, by the way, oh, this has even, we added that, does it? Others. What? Do we not have, maybe this is a small memory version, wait a second. What was the syntax? Was it M for 2 gig of memory? Yeah, as per yesterday's live stream, I wish this would auto detect. And so SDA. So we are, did we boot with EFI? I hope we booted with EFI. Yeah, so the problem is automating this is probably, as seen yesterday, I mean testing. Or do also need to create betterfs. And I mean, there basically is so much I wanted to improve, right? Theoretically, I also wanted to improve defaults like for betterfs, but each of those is like easily 30 minutes of, it always sounds so easy of mounting this differently, but like doing it proper, not hard coding this stuff, always takes a little bit of finding the best spot and a little bit of engineering and testing and stuff. So we need fat on boot. Oh, wait a second. No, we don't. Oh, shit. That was wrong. Mount an existing to EFI, of course. I hope. Should it be EFI? I think it should be EFI. So maybe I didn't boot. I mean, it could be I didn't boot with EFI. I will see in a second. So last but not least, so what else? All right, we probably should tell the doctor that. What's going on in our random chat? They're afraid after they are all just afraid of the worst feelings. Yeah. Okay, that installed some non-test test. So this is stuff that I ideally want to automate. The only problem is that I think this will be really a pain to automate. Oh, by the way, now we should actually test that. So no, this is new, by the way, in latest Julep C actually. So this is the first time I test this. Never tested this. The new C UTF-8 locale. Okay, so I made a mistake. I didn't boot. Does it boot then? I have no idea if it boots now. Has it a chance to boot? I think it should boot, to be honest. Let's test this. It's not really what I wanted to test, but... So because the problem is, and that's also time consuming, besides, the irony is I need to test it now and probably maybe fix a bug or so in all the, because we have regular old-fashioned boots and we have LVM, LVM2, logical volume management, and then also booting from hard disk. Does it probably maybe, right, or yes, no, maybe, why does this? BIOS, what did I download yesterday? Alright, release. BIOS release. Is that promising? Alright, oh, so many. I mean, so the crazy thing is, I also wanted to have so much to do. Can you guys not share, like, and subscribe more and Patreon and OnlyFans and GitHub sponsor and stuff? Because I also need to change this or like adapt and like make this install to us from HD work with AFI, to be honest. And ideally I would want to, oh man, so much stuff to do. So let's do that again. So we need a creative file system, better if as, what? Wiki kernel, what did it say there? Did this work? Apparently it worked, not sure, whatever. Creative file system, fat file boot if you cannot default to that. We had programmed that some year ago. Yeah, so somehow automated testing, especially with expect, will not be fun on this kind of installer. I know that already. Actually, so what we actually should do, we should check QEMU and the Linux kernel. This is what I saw yesterday. There's probably something to learn from QEMU during the test. So, darn, this was wrong. I wanted actually another. So much to being too fast. But the C UTF-8 locale is not the most important to test. We have this. What did I skip over there? Apparently something else. So what do we have here? We have set UUID, search, set root. So that probably should work. I would hope so. This should have installed, right? I mean, I could basically, probably I should have followed my otherwise recommendation of release early and often. We should have released in December. But somehow, yeah, okay, to be fair, Vodafone internet was also constantly broken in our office. And somehow then we got distracted and procrastinated. Yeah, so now this doesn't work. We probably want boot. Oh no, this is also wrong. Let's see, does that? That doesn't work. Why does Why does hard disk? That's this. Okay, that did actually not really work. So much to testing that. Why does all right, this was our boot partition. Why does this not? What do I even note here? So much for testing, more testing. That is somewhat disappointing. Yeah, I wonder what is why is this not? Do we see something? In a way, this is also not ideal command line interface. Somehow like with Zilo and stuff, like yeah, all the modern. I mean, it's so modern, still looks like shit, in my opinion. And then it's like, yeah, redrawing this because like menu like redrawing, and then it overdraws the arrows potentially. So it's like, yeah, I probably test this. This is too boring of like an hour or two of reinstalling and testing what exactly happens. I would say welcome everyone. Unless we make a dedicated hours of reinstalling. Let's better check how do you do the QEMU people implement tests here. Multi-boot, what do they do for tests? Okay, they have, okay, this looks actually pretty like hard-coded, pretty extensive C-coded tests, even Docker, what else? So like floating point, I guess. Is it floating point? Okay, soft float test. Okay, so it's like not expect. So this is custom C programs and custom wrapping stuff. Okay, here they test some. Okay, so this is actually less to learn from, unfortunately. Docs Devil. I mean, what is the point of this readmes when it's just like, look, in Docs Devil, it's like, make check, testing with make check, testing field includes most C-based tests in QEMU. Yeah, so this is totally not helpful. Actually, was wondering if they would, but I mean, how do they test QAPI, QTest, IO test? Okay, there is much less to learn from than I was hoping for. Unless what would be in, let's maybe test VM. What do they have like in CentOS Python? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, this was one possibility that does it even help much? I was considering too, because I see here secure shell. I was actually considering whether we should, we have the to do anyway of SSH in the initRD. But the problem is it doesn't even help that much more with scripting. I mean, there is not really an advantage to expect test input output over secure shell than Serial console scripting. Basically some other kind of basically the menu is not the super nicest to script write tests against. Because what I would want it to script fully is like a test script, the whole installation. And then install for EFI, install for GPT, EFI and master boot record, PC master boot record. And yeah, that is obviously rather... I don't drive so much car. Which country are you from? I only brought, I made my driving license. Yeah, fun facts, disclosing some personal stuff. You've seen this. Maybe I should also more my YouTube channel and make a Fridays for Future episode. I'm actually not just the last years when it became more popular, but actually my whole life I have already been more environmentally friendly, and probably will shock most people that I made my driving license with 30 freaking years. So not that long ago. So the first 12 years since I was legally allowed to make a driving license, I actually didn't had one. And my first and only car so far I brought with 31 or so. Not really driving much, but yeah, obviously I have actually no idea that unimportant it is for me. Thankfully, probably. Maybe work at home if you can, or like commute local, or the other pro tip, right? Also with public transport, right? And demand more public transport from your government and stuff, because I find driving by car also extremely wasteful, especially in medium, but even on the countryside in Germany. When I was a trainee, I could or had to drive bus, actually quite long. And when you drive car, you entirely waste the time. And if you commute with public transport, you can do stuff, right? In the subway or bus, read stuff, read books, read technical books, or even work with your laptop and most likely waste significantly, or even long distance travel, right? If you go by train and stuff, you can just continue doing fun stuff, working and so on. And it's like not about cars. We had peak oil already, right? What most people also don't understand, there's only so much so much oil in the ground, and we urgently. The problem is that all the conservative governments failed for decades to properly convert transition society to a more green path that is long overdue and certainly vastly destroys our environment already, causing more severe natural consequences of storms and floods and dries and stuff. And in the future, we can't, latest in 100 years, there will be most likely next to zero oil in the ground, especially like reachable. Sure, maybe in 100 years, besides we destroyed our climate entirely if we just continue like this. But the crazy stuff is politicians are maybe mostly not that smart, and then all the corrupt money and flow and stuff. But even if you are a believer in burning oil, which of course is entirely stupid for so many reasons, but even let's say you're totally believer in this shit, then latest in 100 years we will have burned everything, ruined our atmosphere and climate and stuff, and latest in 100 years we sure, there might be oil somewhere, like in the deep sea, whatever, but it also becomes more costly, even without wars and climate change, climate crisis, that it becomes more and more difficult to get the last oil, and the last oil of the last drops of kilometers deep in the sea and so on. So even without wars and conflicts, there is only so much oil, and it becomes more expensive every year, besides destroying all our environment and stuff. And sure, I'm aware for some production and chemical processes, oil is favorable, but this also is the issue, right? If for producing plastic and so on, which obviously we also need to get rid of substantially for all the waste everywhere, and it's like, yeah, industrial countries piling up the plastic waste in developing countries like Africa or and China and stuff, which ironically, I think China already the last years significantly decreased the import of plastic waste for their own reasons. But welcome everyone. It's like, yeah, if we still need some petrol for chemical processes for production stuff, then this is even twice a reason not to burn everything before we don't have anything left. But yeah. So yeah, how we're going, we did fine until people ask how the oil prices are. But yeah, of course, yeah, oil prices increased, but for some part it's also a good thing in Europe. I mean, good thing as motivating people to drive less and less big cars, because it is certainly also crazy that people in cities, even more so of course in the USA, but even in Germany, driving bigger and bigger SUVs for no good reasons that even look crap and drive crap. It's like, yeah. Anyway, so how are you doing, except our little excursion of Fridays for Future? And so QEMU test suits, yeah, not that much learned here, except maybe should we... I wonder how the Linux kernel tests look like though. What other changes do we have piling up here? No, like none. Not the most apparently. What did I touch in that file though? Yeah, how you're doing? Do you have any last minute updates? We urgently need to remove us. This is not important, just a test. It doesn't even help much. Just wanted to see something. Yeah, but Patrick says you can feed QEMU with keystrokes with SendKey. Well, we do this already with expect. So I'm not sure how this helps us. We did this already with expect, so right, we simply can send normal text here. So only things we had some timing issues, but set send slow helped here somewhat. So yeah, but the problem is more, this works, at least for the initial test yesterday. But it's certainly a total pain to script this. But I mean, yeah, I mean, nobody said unit test is easy, right? Quality assurance and stuff. So much to, yeah, people always think software is so cheap and free and stuff. It's like, yeah, even developing takes time and money, and testing even so, right? Double and triple. It's like, I only wonder, I mean, yeah, changes and more changes, only constant is change, even over and stuff, because I only wonder if, I mean, the menu stuff is potentially not easy to script, and then I wondered more like whether we should change that, although it's also quite some work, and I mean, changing the dialogue stuff just to make testing easier, which certainly is an option, right? If it's like totally annoying to script, then maybe we should change it. Also, I mean, we could add another install method or install it manually, but then the drawback of that is if we use a, like similar to auto install, I mean, I think even some Linux distributions supported. I mean, ironically, the latest Linux distributions at times still support auto install stuff from floppy, and you would still on your virtual machine container stuff boot with --floppy whatever to your auto install script stuff. Not sure if it's still the case, but it was some years ago as far as I remember. And I mean, we could support something like that. However, then the drawback still is of using another mechanism to auto-install, to scriptedly auto-install. And so that's not testing the same installation, right? So it's a drawback of another code part of not testing your actual human interaction of, yeah, but let's see, download mirror of mirror L Linux 5.16. What is, do they have tests? Where do they have their tests? I think in the meantime they had some tests, but okay, they have some tiny little tests scattered a little bit. Doesn't look like the most tests, so. Yeah, so ideally we should start our microkernel stuff with more testing, because does the Linux kernel even in the meantime has unit testing? So it sounds like only testing. So maybe they have a little bit tiny unit testing now, but not like booting the whole stuff. So yeah, where's my to-do? Tissue, yes. Grab to EFI, find what do we have? Grab to EFI, find devices. Yeah, so a tiny little bit, but I really, yeah, the crazy thing is tomorrow's the last I mean, it doesn't matter the most if we release the first or second day of next month with a 22.2 version. But yeah, maybe I fix some EFI stuff overnight. And it's probably long enough, yeah, 1 hour. I'm keeping this somewhat short. Otherwise, if we live stream 2 or 3 hours and not more people tune in, we probably better make a dedicated Fridays for Future episode anyway. So yeah, basically that is the state. There's always something to do. Actually, data, I'm not finding too many updates today. Yeah. The sad thing is, of course, how many other regressions will we find for other architectures and stuff, by the way. So, oh, wow. Wow. It's not coming up. I expected that, actually. Yeah, for that much I don't spend. Yeah, free shipping. It's a nice machine. So the crazy thing is, I have of course SGO02 and Octane. So this is the first time I see an SGI Tesoro. I had to save search for that. But yeah, wow, even 7 days. This is crazy how much people bid for this stuff. I mean, I honestly, the problem is I wouldn't pay so much for that. It's just a little bit of outro here. People are crazy. Leave in the comments below how much would you bid. My personal limit would be really like 500, and that also only with the YouTube channel. This beast will even be loud. I would naturally expect it's louder than an Octane. I never had one, but I mean, yeah, given that like in 5+ years, it's the first time I see a Tesro. I'm not surprised that it's going for, I mean, at that rate, 7 days still, there you see how desperate people are for SGI, vintage and retro gear. That is really crazy. And then the problem is, I mean, not only it's not supported with Linux, I mean, maybe you can boot a little bit OpenBSD or, I mean, it makes zero sense, right? Especially in the context of Linux, of wasting a year of your lifetime of reverse engineering this stuff, and then spending like $2,000+ for this. Yeah. Leave in the comments below. I mean, it's pointless, right? I mean, this is pointless because performance and everything, it's really for like extreme collectors who even, yeah, of course, no practical value of any sort. Leave in the comments below. That's it for this video. I will continue off screen. As always, leave in the comments below what you liked and disliked and what you found useful. I hope you learned something. And otherwise, comment what you otherwise would want to see. But yeah, we need to continue microkernel and stuff because if we testing, scripting, Linux stuff, at least we fix this cargo file regression. And otherwise, we need to continue with more interesting content. So yeah, hope you learned something. Have a good Sunday. Stay healthy and alive. And I hope to see you soon for the next videos and live streams to come.